Hello, my precious pensive Pisces. Welcome, welcome. It is Sachi the Scorpio, and I am here to deliver your guided healing for the month of May. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The more energy that you send to me, the more energy that I can send to you. And thank you so much for all of your support and likes on this channel. I do want to remind you that the top 3 videos that get the most likes get a twin flame bonus for the next month, as well as, of course, are the first 3 videos that come out. But let's hop into it, Pisces. So this is what came out in the cleansing ceremony. We had the Sun Spirit in reverse. Before this came out, I was feeling that something just was not really aligned, and it feels like it is your connection with Spirit, that you are, not really connecting with your own spirit, with the core of who you are. For some of you, it could be a Leo, but it feels like more so you're not getting in touch with your own Leo energy, and that you may not be connecting to Source itself. And we have Gemini, I think, in reverse, and I heard that you just don't even want to think about it. Like, you feel disconnected to Spirit, but you're just really, really trying not to think about it. And we had the 4th house coming out with roots. So the 4th house is Cancer's house, so there is some, Cancerian energy here as well. Cancer is the divine mother, so there could be relationship with the mother or mother figure, or really just grappling with your divine feminine energy in general, right? It says roots, but the 4th house is actually about emotional roots, right? So that's twofold. One, how were you emotionally programmed by your caregivers, right? Particularly through the mother's lineage. But it's just your caregivers in general. But how were you emotionally programmed, right? When you are sad, how were you allowed to express sadness, right? When you are angry, how were you allowed to express anger? When you're happy, right? How were you allowed to express joy? Did, a caretaker get jealous that you were happy? You know what I mean? And try to steal your sunshine? Wow. Oh, Pisces. Okay, so there's that emotional rooting, right? And that's like our emotional programming. It's not good or bad. It's not evil or whatever. It's just, our parents doing the best that they can. And, we get emotionally imprinted, from a very young age about how to, get emotional stimuli and then have our emotional response, right? These are taught patterns that are ingrained into our nervous system of how we emotionally regulate, right? And then there's the other side of the emotional roots, which is when you get into a new relationship with someone, and it can be platonic or romantic, right? When you meet a new coworker, when you have a new friend, new love interest, whatever it may be, how do you form emotional roots with them? How do you create an emotional foundation with that person? Okay. So it looks like, these sorts of emotional things, right? The 4th house is also of ancestral karma and ancestral trauma. So it does feel like a lot of this you have inherited, but it has disconnected you from Spirit, and you're just really trying not to think about it right now. Okay. And we had nature come out. Okay. So, this is number 15 in the deck. So traditionally this is the devil card, right? But it's nature, right? Like there is a bear trap here, right? So indicating some sort of hurt, right? Or whatever it is. And we see like the satyrs or whatever they're called, like in the background, like dancing, right? They can be some like kind of demonic things. And I'm not saying that this is in your space, but right, we need to understand that even, the demons, right, are still part of nature, right? It's still part of Source, right? There is this duality of good and evil, or light and shadow, right? And we know that shadow is not evil. We know that even evil is just an illusion of actual love, right? It's a shadow reflection of it. It's an illusionary trick to try to make us seem like we are not all from one spirit, right? And so yeah, with the 15 here, it looks like there could have been some sort of trap. You might feel bound to this in some sort of way. We do have bear spirit coming out, and bear spirit is indicative of a mother relationship. So it does seem like a lot is going on within you healing your maternal lineage. But yeah, so we have a bear trap here, and it looks like you're kind of understanding kind of the darker side of nature, right? The devil in general can indicate any sort of toxic attachment to the physical world, right? Whether that's manifesting someone against their will, addicted to food, addicted to drinking, addicted to drugs, addicted to a person, the internet, whatever it is, right? And so it looks like you're understanding that attachment to the physical like that is actually some sort of trap. And I'm hearing that it causes suffering and you're really not trying to think about it. Okay. And then we have the Eight of Athame in reverse. So I'm getting that you want to break this cycle. There's something where you have felt, you know, in the dark, sort of. It's like, again, it's like you don't want to think about it. And the thing is about not thinking about it, it's like you've tied this part of you up and hid it away. Yeah, my throat chakra is like wanting to shut down. And so it's like you don't want to think about it, you don't want to talk about it or anything like that. And I feel like you want to break out of this mental harness, you know, understanding, yeah, okay, this is part of nature, but you really want to break this. And with the Queen of Athame in reverse, like, again, I'm really getting that you don't want to talk about this situation, which that's fine. I guess I'll talk about it for you. But yeah, it's like you don't want to communicate about this, not to yourself or not to, you know, anybody else. And, you know, the Queen of Athame in reverse, it could be like an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini that you're dealing with, but it's mostly just the divine feminine energy that is refusing to communicate about this. And then we had the Earth Mother in reverse with the Crone in reverse. Okay, these are both very feminine energies, and I feel like that is really what is in the dark here, and what is doing a dance with the devil is your own feminine energy, where, you know, with the Earth Mother in reverse, it's making you feel like you aren't abundant, like you aren't, right? The Earth Mother is the highest form of divine feminine energy when it comes to the physical world, right? The 3D reality. And you know, the way that you're understanding nature or whatever it may be, that these things that you're trying not to think about and you don't want to talk about as it relates to your emotional roots, it's like, you know, it's blocking your abundance, okay? And with the Crone in reverse, again, there is this aspect of like a mother figure or maybe a grandmother figure, but you know, the Crone is traditionally strength. So again, we have this Leo energy in reverse, and it feels like it's taking away your strength and you don't feel strong, you don't feel like an abundant, you know, divine feminine that has the ability to create and give life. It's like you're more focused on the death aspect rather than the life aspect. Okay, and then we had Magnemite coming out using lightning ball. So, you know, this is all about polarities, right? Magnemite has, you know, anode and cathode on it, you know, the positive and negative, and that's the thing, right? Positive and negative, light, shadow, yin, yang, masculine, feminine. Neither is evil. Nothing, you know, nothing's good or evil, right? They're neutral forces. They really are. And that's how reality really is. And it's just, you know, the way that we perceive it, if we want to put names on it to demonize or, you know, raise up or whatever it is. But it looks like right now you're really looking poorly on the divine feminine in general, the mother and the crone. Okay. And so, you know, with lightning ball, that is the solar plexus chakra. So it feels like this is really an ego issue, and the solar plexus is ruled by Leo. So it feels like there's some sort of ego issue here. And then we had shield, this is a special type of steel energy called shield energy, and it's in reverse. So it's telling me that you are not protecting your aura. Specifically, you are not protecting your solar plexus. And as you can see, there's other Magnemites around. So if you're not feeling this way, you are going to be attracting other people of that same energy. People who, you know, are in this, you know, understanding nature, more dancing with the devil type energy rather than, you know, being the bountiful and plentiful and abundant Earth Mother or even the wise, old, strong crone, you know. So be careful, because it looks like you are not protecting your energy. And then we had Trainer Pokekid and Trainer Grass Memory. Okay, so trainers, as you know, always indicate another person. It feels like this is someone who may see you as a child, or I'm hearing they act like a child. There is some ancient energy within your heart chakras here that is attracting this person. And it's like they are coming for you, I guess. Not in a bad way, right? But it's like, you know, you don't feel like the mother or the crone, right? Which makes you feel more like a maiden. You know what I mean? And kind of being attached to what a maiden is. And so what are you going to attract with that kind of solar plexus? You're going to attract other people who are all in their yellow, right? Which is all in their lightning ball, all in their solar plexus, all in their ego. You know what I mean? And there definitely, again, there's some ancient energy that is within the heart chakra here. And I feel like it is passed through your mother's lineage. Okay. So long intro, Pisces. Hope you're okay with that. But I do feel like you guys are dealing with a lot right now. So what we are going to do, happy Pisces season, or oh my gosh, okay. Happy Taurus season. Some of you might still be stuck in Pisces season. You know what I mean? Still back in February. But so, yeah, Taurus season. So what we are going to do is, sorry, I always like dissociate with you guys. So I totally feel you, literally. So what we're going to do is check to see where you are now. Okay. And then we're going to see what your long-term goal is. And then in the extended, we're just going to see how to get there, right? What is the path there? And Taurus teaches us to, you know, go at our own pace. So I'm just going to let the cards tell us how to get there without any sort of specific questions, right? We all know better than to guide the bull. All right. I should say we know better than to push the bull, right? The bull does need guidance. All right. Anyway, let's see, Pisces, where are you right now? I'm hearing like, where are you right now? Whew, okay. So we have earth element stability. Yeah, physically, where are you right now? You know, take note of your surroundings and how they make you feel. And I'm hearing like how things have changed since February. And if they haven't since Pisces season, you know that you are kind of stuck in that energy. Okay. But we have the earth element coming out, stuck, stability. So again, you know, I do feel a lot of physical blockages here. This is, you know, Taurus is fixed earth. We're in Taurus season. And so earth coming out stuck kind of gives me that Taurus energy. But it does look like you're pretty stable. It looks like you're not lacking any sort of, you know, money or anything like that. It doesn't feel like you have money issues, but I'm picking up that, you know, nature energy, which is that devil energy. Yeah, Saturn return age. So, you know, you're understanding, you know, nature itself, which is the process of aging and decay and becoming older and dying, right? Those are natural processes of the shadow realm of, you know, transmuting energy, recycling, you know, atomically, right? Recycling so that we can reconfigure the atoms into something new. And then also spiritual recycling, right? Of being born again, you know, through reincarnation or whatever the heck happens, right? So it feels like you're very focused on the physical world, you know, very, very focused on the physical world. With Saturn return age, it does feel like you're having some kind of existential crisis about how old you're getting. You know, Saturn return, for those of you who have a Saturn in Aquarius, you've been in your Saturn return for quite some time. You know, Saturn return is when Saturn returns to your natal constellation. It's about 27 to 29 years, depending on where it was, like in its wobble and all that. You know, it peaks when it's at the exact degree of your Saturn. However, it starts when it's in the sign. So, yeah, so Saturn, you know, is the Lord of karma. So I feel like a lot of physical things are coming back. I feel like you have good karma. So like money-wise, you're good, but you're just very concerned with aging and the decaying process. Like, you know, like I said, Saturn is, you know, he's father time. He rules all sort of physical limitation, like aging and decay, and also any sort of physical restrictions in our life. And I feel like you're really stuck on the physical restrictions of like being a human. Okay, let's see. Whew. We have the Oak King in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and the Knight of Chalices. Okay, so there's something that hasn't ended here, right? The Oak King, when he's upright, right? This is like the Hanged Man, where you see something from a different perspective. Okay. And, you know, you're starting to understand the cyclical and infinite nature of reality, right? But because it's in reverse, I feel like you're having a hard time seeing things from a better perspective or a higher perspective. With the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, it feels like, you know, you're feeling like aging is happening so fast. You know what I mean? Like you're actually grounded, which is good, Pisces. You know, of all signs, you are the hardest to ground because you're very ethereal and you're, you know, you kind of have one foot or one fin, as I like to say, in the astrals at kind of at all time in the unseen realms. But with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, you know, so it feels like you are more concerned with the emotional age, honestly. Like you're understanding what it's like to age emotionally. There's something else here. Okay, so the Knight of Pentacles, right? When the Knight of Pentacles is upright, this is like Taurus. It's a very slow moving knight, right? Knights always are moving forward, but they're also a come and go energy. And the Knight of Pentacles is very tried and true of something coming towards you. And I feel like, you know, you feel like it's coming in fast rather than slow. You're like, oh my God, I'm aging. It's so fast. And, you know, I can't slow it down sort of thing. And it does feel like you're forgetting like the infinite nature of who you are because you're so focused on just the earth element of your life. With the Knight of Chalices, it does look like there is some in and out type emotional energy. The Knight of Chalices does bring an emotional offering of true love, but he seems a little bit out of place. Like, tell me more about why that Knight of Chalices is here. The Two of Athames. So it seems like you're very focused on wanting some sort of emotional offering, but you don't want to talk about it. You're unwilling to talk with someone, but tell me more about this. King of Chalices in reverse. Because the masculine energy in the emotional realm, right, in the emotional body is not grounded. The emotions are not grounded and they're a come and go. Is the love true? Yes. But does it waver and not feel grounded? Yes. And it feels like, you know, very afraid to kind of talk about this, to, you know, sit down with someone and be like, hey, I'm still kind of in and out, you know, and part of it might be because you either feel too old for something or too young for something. What's the light energy here? Whew. We have Noivern using tuning. So this is dragon type energy. And so dragon always means twin flame. So some of you could have a sort of, you're tuning into your twin flame here. Especially with bat spirit, there's a lot of shadow stuff. So some of you are just kind of tuning into your twins energy and maybe their I almost want to say issues. It went dead for a second. Like my connection just like went out, and I feel like that's how it is. You're tuning in and out to this. And I feel like that's how that Knight of Chalices is. It's like, you know, you are tapping into true love, but it's not grounded. It's not stable. And it's just kind of in and out. And it feels like you're picking up on their fears. This could be their fear that you're just internalizing, to be honest. It says okay, and I saw bee spirit here, so what I'm getting is that it might be more of a hive mind sort of thing. And Pisces, as you know, like I mentioned, you have one fin in the astrals in the unseen realm, and you could be picking up on the hive mind where still this, you know, emotionality is more of a come and go energy. It says the ultrasonic waves it emits from its ears can reduce a large boulder to pebbles. It swoops out of the dark to attack. So it feels like you're really trying to make a big deal into a small deal. You know what I mean? It's like, I do feel like you're trying to de-escalate the situation. Again, this earth element that's stuck can be like a boulder, right? But this psychic tuning that you're doing with your twin is actually able to crush this boulder into pebbles, you know, and make it so that it's not really a big deal. And I feel like you're transmuting that energy. But it does talk about swooping out of the dark to attack. So again, I do feel like a lot of this is still in the shadow, even though this is coming out in the light. I feel like a lot of you are doing shadow work. But again, there's still this absence of being able to see things from a different perspective. Let's see, what's the shadow here? What's the shadow? Yeah. Yeah. Let me drink some water. I knew because we had, you know, darkness in the light that dark energy was going to come out in the shadow. So it seems like this is what you are doing. This is dark energy that's in the shadow. So it does feel like you are doing shadow work. It's using trash tentacles. So this can be any sort of, you know, like one, I'm hearing what you're eating. You know, part of it is your emotional body isn't grounded because you're eating things that are not healthy for you. But trash tentacle, I'm getting to not eat seafood. I don't know why. Maybe some of you just aren't eating seafood right now. But anyway, make sure you're not eating trash, right? Because that's kind of what I'm picking up on, is that you're eating trash and it's making you tune into trash things, basically. But trash tentacle, I always take as, you know, like a tentacle that is controlling, right? Like, you know, manipulating in some sort of way, and it's causing negative energy. You know what I mean? Like, this is trash that's in your shadow. So there's a lot of karmic junk that is stuck in your shadow, and you're tuning into that shadow because of your twin flame connection. It says it lures its prey close with hypnotic motions, then wraps its tentacles around it before finishing it off with digestive fluids. Yeah, so some of you, you know, it lures its prey in. So I feel like some of you are dealing with some sort of addiction, again, of like being lured in. And it talks about finishing it off with digestive fluids. So I'm really feeling that, you know, you could be eating really terrible things, you know, and that is causing a disconnect from spirit. Because, you know, your gut, you know, trust your gut, right? You can't trust your gut if your gut is unhealthy. Okay. For some of you, and I almost don't want to say it, but, you know, if you are a twin flame and you are in this bond, if your twin is eating trash, that can also influence you, right? Because if you are not on your spiritual A game, that means that they are not on their physical A game, right? And the more that you work on your spirit, the more that they start to heal their physical issues, and vice versa, right? When you start eating healthy, exercising, you know, doing things on, you know, for the earth element that are going to help you, you know, I almost said reverse the aging process, but, you know, slowing it down, you know, then it's going to cause them to do their spiritual work, right? That's how the bond works of 3D, 5D reality. So for some of you, it's not you eating the trash, it's the other person eating the trash. And that's what's causing a spiritual disconnect for you. And again, anytime twin flame energy comes up, it's hard to tell who is who, but someone's eating trash and someone's bearing the consequences of it. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. This other person wants to come through, but we're going to focus on you, Pisces. Okay, let's see what your long-term goal is. Okay, I know this message really wants to come through. So there is this aspect of like, oh, okay, you know, here I am, I'm going to be aging and decaying, and, you know, I'm going to die and all of this stuff. So it doesn't really matter what I eat. You know what I mean? Life's short. And that's a self-sabotaging behavior because, you know, the universe is always going to prove to you that you're right. So if you are abusing your body and, you know, eating things that are unhealthy, doing things that are unhealthy, whatever it may be, you know, filling yourself with trash, you know, whether that's actual food or even just energetic trash, but I am getting a lot of physical things, you know, drink and food, then, you know, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Of course you're going to age quicker, you know? All right, let's see. What's the long-term goal here? Oh my goodness, Pisces, I heard everlasting life. We have Pluto transformation in reverse. Yeah, you don't want to go through some sort of big transformation or transmutation, right? Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, and it feels like that's what you don't want to go through. We have Sagittarius, IC, and the 8th house, endings and beginnings. So yeah, it feels like you want to understand, you know, an ending and beginning without actually having to do the transformation. And again, I heard like eternal life or something like that. And so, you know, Sagittarius is very perception based, right? IC is very based on, you know, cognitive functioning. Sagittarius rules philosophies and, you know, academic studies and spirituality and religion and culture and travel, right? All of these things that sort of expand our worldview. So it looks like what you want to do is have a different perception of what it means to have an ending and a beginning with the 8th house here, which is, you know, Pluto rules the 8th house without actually having to go through your transformation. So you want to understand the alchemical process of death and rebirth without actually having to die and come back. Wow, Pisces, okay. Well, as a Scorpio with, you know, ruling the 8th house and Pluto is my ruling planet, you came to the right place. Let's see what Spirit wants to say about this. What's the long-term goal here? 9 of Wands in reverse. You don't want this to be a struggle uphill is what I'm hearing. Like, you're tired of feeling like, you know, it has to... How do I want to put this? Okay. We have Mole Spirit in reverse here, and I'm feeling like you don't want to have to go into the shadows, right? You don't want to have to die, so to speak, in order to really understand this. And, you know, the 9 of Wands upright, this has to do with when you're, you know, like almost finished with a project or you're almost there and you have to sort of unrelentlessly believe in the divine. But I'm getting like, I don't want to put my faith in it. Like, I want to... Knight of Thames. Yeah, you want to move forward and understand now, even if it's like you want this information now. You don't want to have to wait. We have Badger Spirit, so I'm getting like, it's okay if it's like in and out, but you want dynamic action forward. Like, it's my information and I want it now sort of thing. The World Tree in reverse. Yeah, you don't want to have to complete your cycle. So I feel a little bit of resistance here. You know, the World Tree in reverse, right? The World card indicates the ending of some sort of cycle, right? It's like the end of the deck. It's like you learn the karmic lesson and you're able to integrate it into your spiritual body. So that way you can manipulate reality at your will, right? That's what the World card represents. And, you know, this one has to do with like, you know, the traditional fall or whatever it may be, that, you know, the World Tree, the Tree of Life, we have the serpent there. And again, that feels kind of like that duality. And, you know, the serpent has been demonized, but, right, it's not really evil, right? Nature is not evil. These processes of death and things, they are not evil, but it feels like you don't want to... I mean, right? Okay, so in the garden, there's 2 trees, right? There's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and then there's the tree of eternal life. And Adam and Eve, right, which Eve is the second woman created, Lilith is the first, right? Some of you might need to do some ancient history study, you know, read some ancient texts. And... right, so Adam and Eve, they eat from the knowledge of, or eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and then, you know, the Lord God goes to the others and says, you know, they cannot become like us, and we must kick them out of the garden so that they cannot have eternal life. So it feels like that's what Spirit is saying, like, you know what, this is some sort of transformation. You can understand the nature of good and evil, right? And again, it's not really good and evil. There is some translative mishaps, I guess. Because again, the shadow is not evil, right? The divine feminine, the yin, is not evil, right? The void, chaotic nature, right? We need that entropy. So... Spirit's saying you cannot have that type of eternal life. It's only through, you know, understanding the knowledge, you know, understanding the duality actually as a whole. I mean, how do I put this? We all have eternal life already, right? But our physical bodies... All right, hold on. Please, Spirit, can you help me out with this World Tree? Okay, going right to the 9 of Wands in reverse. The 4 of Pentacles, yeah. It is against nature to have a physical foundation where you don't have to get to the final stretch. You know, there's something to be said about the magic that happens when, you know, you're so close to the end, right? And you have to surrender and believe in the divine in order to transform and to get to your new beginning, right? There's something to be said about the spiritual aspect and how it changes your perspective of an earth being to know that you cannot have eternal life like that, right? Of course, yes, we are all one of, part of source and whole, and we will come back in some way, but you can't have that physical foundation of like, I'm going to be here forever, because that would change everything. It would change our perceptions of, philosophy of trying to figure out why we're here, right? One of the most beautiful things about the human mind is, trying to expand consciousness in order to truly understand what it means to be alive, a human being, what God means, what, spirituality is, what, culture is, right? If we all had this infinite, time within one physical form, then we wouldn't have all these things that make us human. We wouldn't have the reality that we have. And again, it's not evil or good. It's just the dualistic nature of physical reality in the 3D. Let's see, what's the light here? Yeah, so we have grass energy. It's coming out a little bit stuck, but I'm going to put it upright. This is about the heart chakra. You need to go into your heart to truly understand this. And I'm hearing that some of you will also get a lot of money from undergoing this, okay? Some of you might want a lot of money, but, we have a farewell letter unknown. So some of you need to go into your heart, and that's what it is, right? It's the power of the heart, which does have a limited time on it, right? It's a clock almost. It ticks, right? So that's the powerful thing, is how the heart responds to all these things, such as, understanding that you are mortal in a certain way. Yes, are we immortal in a spiritual sense? Abso-freaking-lutely. But our bodies our hearts have to have a finite amount of time, because when you understand that you have to write a farewell letter to everyone that you know, including yourself, right? Including your physical form, there is something very spiritual and magic about the transformation that occurs and how things end and you begin again. And it has to do with how your heart is, right? And because, in a lot of traditions, it has to do with your heart, right? If your heart is heavier than a feather, then you can't, go into the next realm, or you can't go into the heaven or whatever, right? You get brought back here with karma. So it has to do with, the fact that psychically, in your third eye, that eventually you have to say goodbye to everyone, including yourself. It says, shaped like ancient writing, it is a huge mystery whether language or unknown came first. Yeah, exactly. This is exactly like, right, the feminine and the masculine energy, the light and the shadow, the yin and the yang, existence versus non-existence, void, the chaos. And the light, the masculine, is the structure, right? What came first, unknown or language? What came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the yin or the yang, right? It's a dualistic appreciation and understanding of two as one. 1 + 1 = 1. It's these existential things that we have to philosophize, right? We have to create spirituality and religion and, academic study and things to try to figure out the nature of reality. And it's a very beautiful thing that humans can do, but that's what it is. You have to have these questions, these unanswerable questions, and knowing that you will be mortal, in some sort of way, and having to say goodbye. And that is the power of the heart chakra. This is how, there's a certain spiritual about the heart. Okay? And it feels like it has to do with this age, right? Your heart will age and decay. Anything else is kind of like, okay, you're fine. But, it has to do with your heart and what you're feeling in your heart when you pass. And that's why it's so important to, release your suffering. It's so important to make sure that you are clearing your heart chakra so that it's pure. So that way when you say goodbye, including to your own heart, your own heart isn't pulling you down with heavy, you know, negative emotions, if you want to call them negative, or just lower vibrational emotions, pain, suffering, right? And it feels like, you know, because you were stuck in your solar plexus, because there's so much going on in your solar plexus, which is your ego and your willpower, that's why there's some blockages in the heart. Let's see, what's the shadow here? Yeah, we have Sable Eye. Again, we have some shadow energy here using bewitching eyes. So, again, this is, you know, dark energy that's in the shadow, and it feels like you want to see it for yourself, sort of thing. Some of you might be wanting to use like witchcraft in order to find this answer. I wouldn't do that necessarily. Like, you want to see it with your own eyes, and you will, but it's like you don't want to really call that to you right now, okay? Because if you're just longing for the answer, like, I want to know, I want to know, I want to know what happens when you die, the universe is going to respond. It's the same way of like, oh, I'm aging so fast. Okay, well, then the universe is going to show you that you're right and you're going to age fast, you know? It says, it dwells in the darkness of caves. It uses sharp claws to dig up gems to nourish itself. So it does look like some of you still need to do some shadow work, right? There is this aspect of going into the caves and digging up gems to nourish itself. So I'm getting like, you know, as you go through your shadow work, which you need to do about your heart chakra and, you know, how you're going to feel when you say goodbye to your own heart. You know, oh my gosh, I'm like being filled with emotions. You guys are going to make me cry. You know, you're going to find gems that are going to nourish your soul, right? But you have to actually do that shadow work. And that shadow work is going to help change your perception of the finite and infinite nature of reality, right? The infinite nature of reality is the shadow. The shadow is not evil, right? It's the unseen. The finite is the masculine, the light, the 3D reality, which is not good necessarily either, right? They're both neutral forces. So yeah, you do need to do some shadow work in order to get those gems to nourish yourself, okay? I'm hearing for some of you, if you haven't met your twin, you'll know it when you look in their eyes. Okay, Pisces, wow, that was intense. So we're going to see, you know, how we get there in the extended. Like I said, the link is in the description box below, but let's see here what moon would like to take us into the extended. We have two. We have Show the World the Real You, full moon in Aquarius, and it's going right to the Oak King in reverse. So you are meant to show the world the authentic you. And again, it does look like, you know, you're having some perception blockages about this. And you might feel like, you know, I don't want people to see me this way because I look old, or I'm getting old, or, you know, I feel old, or whatever. You need to show the world the real you. Okay? There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. The real you, the authentic you, is beautiful and lovable, and show the world. Okay, the full moon in Aquarius is the full moon that happens in Leo season, so not too far off, right? Probably 4 seasons away. And it is very, very powerful. So it feels like this is something that you want to work on, you know, through Leo season. We have going right to the King of Chalices in reverse. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. Today is the new moon in Taurus. I'm recording this on May 11th, and prosperity does lie ahead here. Okay. You have a new beginning, and for some of you, it can be with the lack of emotional stability. For some of you, it can be the lack of emotional stability that leaves you to eat trash all the time, okay? Prosperity does lie ahead, okay? But part of that is also going at your own pace, right? Not trying to rush yourself. All right, I'm getting to bring some light into the situation to bring us into the extended. We have going right to the Bewitching Eyes, Warrior Woman in reverse. Have you answered your deepest calling? It's coming out in reverse, so it feels like the answer has been no. You have not answered your highest calling as a warrior woman, right? And this is your divine feminine energy. It doesn't matter if you're man, woman, or, you know, agender, non-binary, whatever it may be, but your feminine energy has not answered the call to your deepest calling. Okay, and it feels like it's because you feel like the feminine energy, which is the fact that things come to an end, that things have to return to the chaos, that things have to be transmuted. You feel that it's evil, but it's not. It's not. All right, I'm going to pull an archangel and then we're going to go into the extended. I just feel like there's more for you here, Pisces. Spiritual understanding. Yes, this is what you need to do, is have a spiritual understanding of this process, right? This is Archangel Raziel. I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths. And it feels like that's what you want to do. You want to understand and be able to have a perception shift to actually see with your third eye what this is all about, right? So you will be being sent esoteric information and symbols, and will help you understand these spiritual truths that you yearn so deeply to understand. Oh, I'm getting one more for you, Pisces. Let's see. Right to the King of Chalices in reverse. We have Gavura, the left hand, Judgment in reverse. This is the feminine hand, right? The left. And with Gavura in reverse, it's saying that, you know, the way that you are judging things is actually cutting off your own hand. It's like, whew. I heard torturing the feminine. It's torturing the feminine, the choices that you are making with this bad judgment call, okay? Whew, okay, all right, Pisces, we are going to head into the extended now. Like I said, the link is in the description box below, so click on the link if you'd like to follow me there. If we part ways here, good luck with the situation. I am sending you so much love, a big hug, and a kiss on your third eye. Mwah.